Hello, everybody. FAI here, and welcome to another FAI tips video. Well, kind of a talks video, but in today's video, we will be talking about hardware versus NVIDIA Geforce Now, or as I'm going to call it from this point forward, Geforce Now. Now, in Geforce Now, good. Does it do what it's expected to do? And a short answer, and if you're just looking to have a short answer and not be here for quite a long time, the answer is yes. NVIDIA Geforce or Geforce Now does do exactly what it's expected to do, but I'm sure none of you are here for a 28, 40-second video. So let me go into details about Geforce Now and, of course, true hardware. Now, should you give up true hardware and doing upgrades on your PC just for Geforce Now? In truth, well, I will tell you after this. And what I want to say is also, if you do like these videos and you do want to support these videos, please do consider supporting the videos by hitting the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Not only does this help the YouTube algorithm get this video out to more people just like you, but it also allows me to be seen more through YouTube and, of course, its algorithm. But anyway, going back to the answer. And the answer is, when it comes to Geforce Now versus hardware, should you give up upgrading your PC for Geforce Now? The answer to that is absolutely not. In a sense, Geforce Now is trying to fill a niche, or a niche, as you would call it, whatever you want to call it. But yes, it's out there to fill a niche or a niche that can be filled by other things. For instance, Geforce Now will support many games and give you a virtual system. And in many cases, especially if you go for the highest end tier they have, it's going to be a 3080 RTX graphics card. And this is a virtual system, which of course will help you in the long run, or even in the short run, of being able to continuously get the best games out there. For instance, Cyberpunk 2077. You can play, for instance, Plague Inc. Relinquum, I think it's called. I think that's the newest Plague Inc. or a Plague Tale game. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I do apologize. But it does fill the gap of having true hardware. And why is this? Well, like I said before, Geforce Now is realistically trying to fill a niche. And it's trying to fill a niche that is more for laptop users. For instance, people who have a Google Chrome, people who have a old school laptop, a laptop that just can't play the latest and greatest anymore. And that's where Geforce Now does succeed and does excel generally. It excels in creating an environment where you can have a 3080 and your library of games and be able to play them at the highest setting you would possibly be able to generally. For instance, something like Cyberpunk 2077, something like 456, with Geforce Now, you can play them with RTX on. And even with Guardians of the Galaxy, and even games like Life is Strange, True Colors, or Metro, or any of the Metro series, or even Mortal Shell, all of these games can be played with RTX on, and even up to, something like Watch Dogs Legion is able to play with RTX Now. And that's what Geforce Now is, trying to help build a gap for, is the people who are trying to, in a sense, have a virtual game system that they can use as a way to well, have a virtual system if you want, and have a gaming computer without actually having a gaming computer, which is, like I've said before, great in its own way, and it's of course good to, to have this be a part of a system at this point. And I think that it's a good system to have when you can't afford to get the actual hardware. But this will not replace the hardware at all, generally. And unfortunately, that's the one thing I will say is that at the end of the day, unfortunately, you will have it to where eventually the GeForce Now doesn't support the full on and support all the games that you may want to play. So hardware really is a much more feasible plan in general. And because hardware, of course, is a much more feasible plan in general, it's probably better to make sure that you are able to, that GeForce or NVIDIA has been the ideal solution or the ideal graphics card that everyone wants these days. But you gotta remember that, for what you're paying with GeForce Now, which can be up to about $20 a month, which is great. The thing about GeForce Now is that at the end of the day, at $20 a month, in a few years, or even just a year or two, you could have a 3080 or even a 4090, or you could even go up to an RX 6950. You know what I mean? But in general and entirely, that's just something to really consider and think about overall, is how are you going to manage that? Because with hardware, for instance, with graphics cards entirely, you can get a RX 6950 XT for almost $900, almost about $900 now, and that performs just as well as a RTX 3090. And sure, the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090 might be the system that is like, ooh, it's GeForce. That's my system. That's everyone's graphics card. But you gotta remember that NVIDIA does kind of overcharge you for their name. And Radeon, I mean, yes, they can overcharge you a little bit for their name, but you gotta remember that because NVIDIA is a graphics card that's been in game sync and has been the go-to for many gamers for so many years, there's almost no doubt that NVIDIA has earned that name to kind of give you a little more nickel and dime. And, GeForce Now is the same problem. And as you will have to have the required specs internet-wise to really make the virtual system work for you, in a sense. And because you have to make the virtual system work for you in some way, shape, or form, you have to have at least, if you want to get to, for instance, the 120 FPS streaming, you have to have at least a 75 megabyte download system. And if you want to have, 60 FPS at 1080 or, full HD, you have to have at least, I think it's like a 45 megabyte download to get that capability. And beyond that, it's just not going to be, as good in a sense. Especially when it comes down to like 720, downgrade to 720 or whatever. You know what I mean? It's gonna be something where, unfortunately, in my opinion, anyway, the sad thing is that in my opinion, I just don't think that a virtual hardware system will ever hold the same candle as a actual hardware system, you know what I mean? So, in that regard, the GeForce Now is serving a niche. And it's serving a niche that probably will only fill the guts of a few people. It won't fill the guts of every gamer. And it's definitely not the solution to, like, oh, I don't need to upgrade my computer anymore. I can just get Geforce now and I'm set for life. And no, it's not really that easy. But anyway, let me go ahead and throw up a video of me using Geforce Now and my regular hardware on Cyberpunk 2077. This is just the benchmark. I will throw it up in two different ways. One way will be, of course, just my hardware, and you can see it just in my hardware. And then you can see it in Geforce Now with pretty much the best settings. And you'll see that Geforce Now does give you that 3A system. It does give you the system to basically max out the actual graphics and see every little detail of Cyberpunk 2077. But, like I said, it's a niche that's only filling the bellies of gamers who have a laptop and they don't want to buy a brand new desktop. But they also don't mind the factor that it's not going to be, their complete gaming system or gaming rig. In fact, if you're using something like, for instance, workshop items from Steam, or let's just say, for instance, you do decide, like, I'm going to play Fallout 3, and I decide to mod or add in, things that make the game run better. NVIDIA GeForce Now does not support those things. NVIDIA GeForce Now will only give you the basic rig and will only virtualize the computer that you're using. So, just so you know, if you have like performance mods or stuff like that you're using for, like, for instance, we all know that Bloodlines, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines doesn't run well without the unofficial patch. And unfortunately for us in GeForce Now, that unofficial patch will not be applied to GeForce Now. It will only run, for instance, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines as it was updated through Steam. Anyway, enjoy the video of the benchmark from my regular hardware and well as GeForce Now so you can see it together. And then I'll try to splice it together so that you can see it together. And yeah, I will meet you all back in benchmarks and you could see how the RX or my RX 580 did compared to Geforce now. And you learned something about this. Honestly, in my opinion, like I said, Geforce now is only trying to fill a niche, and it's trying to fill a niche of gamers who don't have the capability of upgrading their computer, for instance. So if you have like a desktop, just get the hardware. It'll probably be cheaper. It will be an investment. But generally, if you have a desktop and you're using that for gaming right now, you probably should just upgrade the hardware and you're good to go. You'll be good to go for the next 10, 20 years. But if you don't have that desktop and you're thinking, should I buy a desktop or should I just use what I have? Well, it comes down to you. If you really think you can buy and afford a desktop, get the desktop. It will be a great investment, and let's face it, at the end of the day, it'll last you years and years and years. You almost will never need to change the computer again, unless, of course, you decide, like, oh, I'm going to switch from Ryzen to Intel. You know what I mean? But even then, it probably won't be that hard of a switch. Otherwise, if you're just a gaming laptop person or someone who's on the move, someone who needs their gaming now and just is never really at home, but you want to have the ability to play your favorite video games on the go and on whatever system you're on, the NVIDIA Geforce now definitely fits that niche. But like I said, thank you everyone for watching this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to also like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. I already explained it before at the very beginning of the video, but I wanted to mention it again just in case you did stick around for this one. Thank you for sticking around for what might have been a bit of a longer video, but until the next one, everybody, this is FAI signing out and saying farewell, everyone.